Hello, good evening. I'm Roger Johnson. Monday night. Welcome to North West Tonight. Thank you for joining us this evening. Our top story. A teacher denies having sex with an underage pupil but admits having a baby with an older student after she had been sacked. Rebecca Joins broke down when she told her trial the baby was immediately taken from her. Also tonight, new checks on the water at wild swimming sites across the region, but are they clean? Manchester United's women make history, winning the FA Cup for the first time.
It's what every young player dreams of playing at, and yeah, I've managed to do it a few times and get some good goals on it, but I love it and I love playing in front of the fans.
So I've bought loads of new clothes. I'm having my eyes lasered one at a time, and I've had my hair relaxed and one or two other things.
Like what?
I'd rather not say.
We speak to the stars of Kay Mellor's smash hit The Syndicate as her daughter takes it to the stage.
And of course I will have the full forecast for the week ahead, but we could not ignore such incredible scenes. We'll find out how the Northern Lights panned out across the region later in the programme.
Well, first tonight, a teacher has told a court how she exchanged messages with two 15-year-old boys and separately invited them to her flat. But she has denied having any sexual contact when they were underage. 30-year-old Rebecca Joins later became pregnant by one of the boys after he had turned 16, and she had been sacked over the allegations that she had slept with the first boy. Kevin Fitzpatrick was listening to all this at Manchester Crown Court today, where, Kevin, the defendant was giving evidence. Just tell us a little bit more about what she said.
Well, she was asked to explain how she began exchanging messages and Snapchats with a 15-year-old boy in her maths class after he got hold of a number. She said she knew it was inappropriate, but she knew it was inappropriate, but she was lonely, and that she knew it was inappropriate, but she was lonely. And he was flirtatious and cheeky, and then it was just friendly messages, but she was soon arranging to take him in September 2021 to the Trafford Centre to go shopping and allowing him to stay over at her flat that night. Now she claims that he claims that they had sex that night. That's something she denies, but his mum found out, and she was quickly suspended by the school and arrested by police. And it was just a few months later, while she was on bail on the condition of not having any unsupervised contact with anyone under 18, that she began a relationship with a second 15-year-old boy from that same class. He was soon having secret visits to her flat in Salford Quays, and he said they had sex numerous times while he was 15. She told the court that didn't begin until he was 16 and was of legal age, and by that point she'd been sacked, so was no longer a teacher. And that relationship went on for some time. They had a baby together, and that baby was taken from her straight away.
Kevin, thank you. We're going to leave it there. You did very well to carry on despite the intervention of a couple of other individuals. Thank you, Kevin, there at Manchester Crown Court. Now, if you watch the programme regularly, you'll know that Kay is an enthusiastic member of an organised wild swimming group. It's become more popular since lockdown, and today it's been announced that 5 new wild swimming sites in the region will have their water quality monitored during the summer months. They include parts of Coniston, Derwent Water and the River Ribble, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they will be clean, as Phil Cunliffe explains.
How clean are our rivers and lakes? From now on, people using Coniston will have a better idea. 3 new areas here have been given bathing water status. It means that the water quality will be monitored by the Environment Agency from mid-May to the end of September. Local business owner Phil Johnson has sailed on the lake for more than 50 years.
People love to sail on the lake. It's very, very popular indeed. Yes, the water quality is of concern, and I really think that the powers that be should be putting in extra drainage. But I've swum in the lake, and many, many other people have as well.
But concerns over water quality in Coniston mean that some prefer to swim by the waterfalls higher up the valley.
Personally for me, it's the fresh water course that comes right down, and knowing what I've heard recently with the lake, obviously I just feel it's a little bit better for me to be in the fresh water, and it's much cooler as well.
Amy, Louise and Brenna, on holiday from the Midlands, said they were sticking to a mountain stream after an unpleasant experience in Windermere.
Went to Windermere the other day, didn't we? And it was a bit dirty. But we'd just like to explore different places, and it just always seems a lot clearer and fresher in the waterfall.
Yeah, we're always kind of mindful where we pick our swim spots, and yeah, it's something that we're quite passionate about as well, about protecting our waterways.
Water companies have been criticised for record sewage discharges into England's waterways last year. A high-profile campaign to clean up Windermere cast a spotlight on the health of our rivers and lakes. Today, the government said bathing water status will allow people to check the quality of the water they're intending to swim in.
So we can ensure that those who pollute are held to account, make sure that our water companies are putting the level of investment in to improve the quality of water, and also deal with those further upstream, agricultural runoff, and make sure that we're incentivising farmers to improve water quality so we have good rivers.
Today, an area of Derwent Water and the River Ribble in Lancashire were also given bathing water status. But many were turned down, including the River Dee in Cheshire, because it didn't meet the new threshold of 100 bathers per day. Campaigners welcome the improved monitoring, but say much more must be done to improve the health of our rivers, lakes and coastlines. Phil Cunliffe, BBC North West Tonight.
Now, a mother and her son from Merseyside have been jailed after pleading guilty to being in charge of an XL bully-type dog which caused catastrophic and life-changing injuries when it attacked an 8-year-old boy in Bootle. Lewis Young, who's 30 and was the owner of the dog, was sentenced to 2 years in prison. His 49-year-old mother, Amanda Young, was given 20 months. A walker who went missing in the Lake District has been found dead by mountain rescue teams near Scawfell Pike. Search dogs, drones and the Coast Guard were all called out after the man failed to return from a hike on Thursday. His body was found later on Friday. Nuclear workers in Cheshire have voted to strike over pay. The GMB union says around 500 staff at the Urenco nuclear site in Capenhurst backed industrial action after talks broke down. Greater Manchester Police says that it's answering 999 calls quicker than 3 years ago. GMP was second from bottom in the league table of police forces in England and Wales in 2021, when it took an average of 25 seconds to pick up a call. That's now down to 4 seconds. That's a well-known turn of phrase. You look like you are carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. It's tough, whatever your age. But for youngsters, that burden and the reasons for it can be particularly hard to bear. So to mark Mental Health Awareness Week, BBC Children in Need has launched something called the Heaviest Backpack campaign.
Come on, Ben, you're going to be late.
Ben.
Some children carry more than others. With our help, their mental health issues can feel lighter. BBC Children in Need. We're there for you.
It's really powerful. The youth worker that you saw at the end of that little excerpt is Dylan Monsengo from Reflecteen in Manchester. It's a charity which focuses on children's mental health and well-being. And Carol Lowe has been to meet him.
As a teenager, Dylan Monsengo carried the weight of the world on his shoulders. His father died when he was 15, so helped his mum bring up his siblings.
Oh my God!
Youth centres were a second home to him, something he tries to recreate at Reflecteen.
We do loads of sessions that empowers kids, like even from ages from 6 to like 20, I can say. And like anyone that's like suffers from mental health or like day in day like have problems or negatives from outside, the time they come in here, like we always make them a second home. Like we provide them food, we care to their needs, whether it's sports, games, what they want to do in their life.
My home life isn't really the best anymore, so I have a lot of pressure getting put onto me, got a lot of weight on my shoulder, but Reflecting really does help me release that weight. It also relieves me of a lot of stress.
It helps me to socialise with other people, helps me to also have like good relationships with people and keep relationships. I think I've experienced my fair share of struggles, you know. I've been through it, and in schools and outside of schools, But it's a part of life, you know. You have ups and downs, and you just got to get back up and make sure that you can do better as a person.
For its heaviest backpack campaign, BBC Children in Need commissioned a survey in which children and young people were asked about their worries. It found 44% compared the weight of the worries they carried to books, while 16% said it was like carrying bricks. Some of the biggest worries include doing well in education, losing a loved one, safety on the streets, and whether their families can afford household bills. Radio 1 presenter Katie Thistleton from Manchester is also a qualified counsellor. She faced her own struggles as a child.
I feel like I carried just the weight of the world on my shoulders in my backpack. Just was generally just a worried kid. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just was anxious about everything. Just, you know, if I saw something in the news that upset me, I'd think about that.
For younger ones at Reflectine, a worry jar is part of the wellbeing toolkit.
When something's like happening like school or something, I can just like come here and forget about it.
And do you notice a difference in them when they've had to come here and relaxed and, you know, offloaded their worries?
Yeah, a lot. Because they don't want to leave. They're always here, like, they just come here with a sad face and then leave with a smiley face.
Carol Lowe, BBC North West Tonight.
An interesting idea. Children in Need, as you know, working all year round. The appeal date not normally till November for the big show. Now, a new type of concrete is being tried out in Lancashire. It's made from these seashells. It comes from the waste discarded by the shellfish processing industry in Fleetwood. Otherwise, that would all go to landfill. But scientists now believe that this new eco-friendly type of concrete can drain water and help to stop flooding. It's ingenious, isn't it? Have a look at this from our environment correspondent, Judy Hobson.
The ground here is concrete. It looks pretty normal, but it's not, because this is made mostly from shells and water drains through it. It's a pioneering project being tested here in a community garden in Blackpool.
Yes, it's quite a nice surface.
And the brains behind it is a team at the University of Central Lancashire.
When it rains, the water will permeate through and then will dissipate into ground, so stopping flooding. And this particular garden area was very prone to flooding.
The concrete is made from crushed scallop and whelk shells, saving them from going into landfill.
So what we have to do is we have to wash them and crush them, and then we have to sieve them to the right size so that they can go into the concrete.
This concrete might not be strong enough for motorways, but it could be used for cycleways, footpaths, car parks, and of course garden spaces, like here at the People's Pantry.
We needed a flooring that would be something which was slip and trip proof. We've also got waterlogging locally, or was prior to sorting out the garden now, so it needed to tick that box as well. Something that could ramp because we needed to get up to the People's Pantry. But the fact that it also then takes shells from a local fishing industry and stops it going to landfill and repurposes it fits with everything else we've been doing inside.
It was bad before because it kept flooding, because it was like walking about in mud, and I think it's an absolutely brilliant idea. And we was doing some tests the other week with pouring water in to see if it was, you know, and it works. It's brilliant, yeah.
The university wants companies to look at using this as a way of preventing flooding. It also hopes the fishing industry will get on board to prevent millions of tonnes of shells from going into landfill. Judy Hobson, BBC North West Tonight, Boston Way in Blackpool.
Simple and clever.
Yeah, well, you got half right anyway.
I wasn't setting you up there. British here, as you can see. Manchester United's men are going to play in the FA Cup final in just under a fortnight against Manchester City again. The women from the football club have shown them how to do it.
From United,
they? Yeah, from United. First FA Cup winner, final victory for them at the weekend.
First major trophy, Rog. Special for all sorts of reasons, not least because of the heartbreak of losing in the final last year. But the Reds won the day this time, beating Spurs 4-0 and at a packed-out Wembley as well. United's women clinched their first major trophy in fantastic style.
It's Manchester United, FA Cup winners.
Cup winners and history makers for a Manchester United team who shone in the Wembley sunshine.
I'm exhausted now, but it's a magical feeling, and congratulations to the whole team. Congratulations, a magnificent performance, and we're FA Cup winners.
And winners of their first ever major trophy with a very special goal coming from the boot of a lioness who dreamt of playing for the Reds as a young girl.
He's away, it's 17!
Wish I could play here every week, to be honest. No, I love it here. It's the home of football. It's what every young player dreams of playing at. And yeah, I've managed to do it a few times and get some good goals on here.
And this one certainly meant an awful lot, with Ella's fantastic first half strike setting up what became a procession for the Reds, with Rachel Williams and a brace from Lucia Garcia, making it a glorious day for United in front of a crowd of more than 77,000.
Something I can't explain by words. I'm so happy. I'm so happy for bringing this trophy home. And yeah, we are losing now. I love it, and I love playing in front of the fans and having all my family and friends here as well. It meant a lot.
And for a senior women's team that was only formed 6 years ago, this was a Wembley triumph that could signal a whole new era for the Reds. The Clarets were relegated back down to the Championship after a 2-1 defeat at Spurs. So how are Burnley fans feeling after a season which Vincent Kompany's young team never quite got to grips with the step up in class? Eunice Muller reports.
For Vincent Kompany and Burnley, relegation after a poor season.
There weren't big expectations anyway, really, because we didn't bring any experience in.
You've got to give them time to gel together as a team, haven't you, and get it together, which they didn't manage to do.
The main thing is, when they go down to the Championship, they don't go any further down.
A relegation from the Premier League is nothing we haven't seen before, and I'm sure we'll bounce back.
That's
You seem quite optimistic considering just been relegated.
We've seen it all before, you see. They're going down, they can come up.
I think you have to keep trying until you effectively bridge that gap. And we have ideas about it, of course.
Relegation is their 5th from the Premier League, and it's clear Vincent Kompany has work to do if the team is to bounce back to the top flight after one season down.
It just seemed to be a mess, and in the end, when you get to Christmas and then you're starting to look at other teams and hoping they get points deductions, that might be your best way of staying up. It shows you that you're in a bit of trouble. But back into the Championship, we saw what Vincent Kompany did last season.
At home to Nottingham Forest on the final day, fans have their sights on next season.
It's great being in the Premier League. Everyone says it's the best league in the world, but there's so much excitement in the Championship. So I don't feel even as deflated as a business owner. We trade more in the Championship. There's more games. We seem to have better cut runs.
Burnley will want to reflect on what went wrong. Eunice Muller, BBC North West Tonight.
Now, after the huge news, wasn't it, that bowling legend Jimmy Anderson will retire from international cricket in the summer, Lancashire fans will be hoping he'll still turn out for the Red Rose. The team could probably do with him at the minute. Lancs remain bottom of the county championship after a 9-wicket defeat to Nottinghamshire. It was, though, very special for 20-year-old Matty Hurst, who made 104 his maiden first-class century. Well done to Matty. And many congratulations to FC United of Manchester, who've won the European Phoenix Trophy in Italy for the 2nd time in 3 years. Side Prague Raptors 4-0 in the final of the competition, which is for semi-professional and amateur fan-owned or community clubs. Real success, that, Roger. 2nd time, as I mentioned, in 3 years. And they're in the 7th tier, FC United. And as you could see, loads of fans as well.
Absolutely. Well done to them. Rich, thank you very much, Rich, with all the sport for us tonight. We've got Kay in just a minute. You might be sitting there having won the lottery. If you have, lucky you. If, like me, you haven't, admit it, we've all had that conversation, haven't we, about what we would do if we did. And that was the premise of the hit BBC One comedy drama, The Syndicate, written, of course, by Kay Mellor. Now, Kay had also devised a stage version of it before she died. The production is now being directed by Kay's daughter, Gaynor Faye. Also stars Brooke Vincent, and Ian Haslam has been to see them.
This is The Syndicate, including the moment everyone who's ever entered the lottery has dreamed of.
I think we've won the lottery.
Again, and this is your directorial debut, I think that's the term, isn't it? How does that feel?
Honestly, it's such a wonderful thing to be able to take the baton and run with it. I know my mum was so excited about bringing this play to the theatre. It's just about keeping her words alive and keeping her legacy going, as well as having this incredible show that people seem to be loving. We're having a great time, and that's not acting. Well, I don't think so anyway. No.
Now remember,
As soon as I make the announcement, the cameras will go off, so big smiles.
The stage adaptation is based on This, the TV show, which ran for 4 series until 2021.
She basically took all the good bits out of 6 hours of television and put them all together. You know, it explores all the different characters' journeys and the things that winning lots of money can do to people, both good and bad.
Brooke, you were Sophie on Coronation Street for years and years.
What about the way you idiot? No. I'm telling you shit now. Get lost!
And now here you are in theatre. How big a change has that been for you?
I thought, oh my God, I'm going to have to actually do it. I'm going to go on stage and do it in front of everyone. And it's a real different skill set. And I think, you know, we're a couple of weeks into our tour now and we kind of know when people laugh and we kind of ride that now. Whereas at first I was a bit like, oh God, oh right, oh, they're going to laugh there now. I'm going to have to change that.
I love you, Amy. You still love me, don't you?
I'm worried how we're going to bloody manage.
Everything's going to work out.
It's just really exciting though. You don't know what kind of show you're going to have and it's just, you just jump on everybody's energy. It's lovely.
It's a bit like working on North West Tonight, I tell you. You're acting in it as well as directing. How does that work?
Well, I just put myself in at the end and then realised that I had to go on stage too. It was like, oh my God.
Part of my job is to establish the actual winner.
My character kind of does dot in. She's not part of the actual core cast. She's called Kay. I named her Kay.
It's all right, I'm just out here, I'll be in a minute.
Just looking back on your Coronation Street, I know you've been in millions of things, but you were pegging out when you died, didn't you?
I was pegging out the washing, I know. I remember it so well. I remember Ken Barlow giving me the kiss of life. I know. It got me in the end.
Loved it!
Yeah.
The Syndicate also stars Gaynor's son Oliver Anthony and Emmerdale actor Samantha Giles.
Some people get a little bit scared when they think about going to the theatre. It's going to be a bit serious, and it's everything but serious. Well, it can be serious, but it's a really good production.
And you're in Wirral for 2 nights here, and then you're in Salford. Is it later this week?
Yes.
It's a homecoming for you, isn't it?
I'm so excited. Just so my nana can come and see me. My nana's been like so excited, so yeah, she's going to come and see me. So that's good, and like all just friends and family and just show them what we've been up to.
Ian Haslam, BBC North West Tonight at the Floral Pavilion Theatre in Wallasey.
That's great, isn't it? A lot of people will enjoy watching that. Right, now, one member of my family took off to the Peak District on Friday night to climb to the top of a hill in the dark. Maybe not normal behaviour, except that they knew that there was a chance to see a rare sight, the Northern Lights, of course, and lots of you on Friday night into Saturday morning had similar ideas and were also looking skywards. Fantastic, weren't they? The couple you saw at the end there were Emma and Ed. They got married at Mottram Hall in Cheshire on Friday afternoon. And Ed, you smoothie, delivered that light show on his wedding night. Well done. You look quite Northern Lights with your dress.
I thought I looked like the Aurora, in case you missed it. Here it is.
Were your new nickname?
Did you see it?
No.
No. Me neither. But we saw lots of lovely pictures, so thank you so much for sending them in. Always do send them in or become a BBC Weather Watcher and I can get you pictures up on the programme, like this one. Andy G sent in Lancashire. It was a beautiful start to the day, clinging on to the weather we had from the weekend, but sadly the skies turned grey, the rain arrived, and that is all thanks to low pressure. So how's the week looking? More unsettled, low pressure is in charge. It's going to be cooler, although temperature's about average and rain at times like we're seeing right now. So it's a secluded front spiralling around the outside of this low pressure system. It's going to stay with us through this evening and overnight, and actually for the next couple of days it's not going to go anywhere too fast. So rain through this evening, some of it's going to be heavy. We'll turn lighter and patchier in some spots, but then we're probably going to get more of a deluge during the early hours of tomorrow morning. Still fairly breezy. Temperatures will be about 14 degrees. Misty, murky, muggy conditions. My mum would say it's close, that kind of sticky feeling. And we start off damp and mist tomorrow morning, the heaviest of the rain across Cumbria and parts of Lancashire. We should see it brightening for Merseyside, Greater Manchester, perhaps even some coastal parts where we'll see the best of the dry and the bright weather. And the Isle of Man getting some sunshine as well. Temperature-wise, 15 to 18 degrees. Now, that's actually about average for the time of year. But like I said, low pressure is continuing to stay with us right throughout this week. There's that front, starts to push to the northeast, but it's going to leave us with showers, more so as we head Thursday night. Quite heavy showers. A few first thing Wednesday morning. Looks to be fairly dry for a good deal of the day. Further heavy showers expected later on, and temperatures through Wednesday getting to about 19 or maybe even for parts of Merseyside 20 degrees, and those temperatures remain around 19 or 20 degrees throughout the week, so above average. It's not a complete washout. There will be some spells of sunshine at times, but a lot of dry and fine weather. From Roger,
It's a sad week. Sad week, isn't it, this week? Last week in the broom cupboard.
Oh, we like to be.
Yeah, last week in the broom cupboard. We're moving out next Monday. How exciting.
Stay with us.
Have a nice evening. Good night.